Rock bottom on the track, boy.
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for tuning into the Mind of a Man show, where men and women speak all things men. My name is James Bush. I am your Manversationist. And I got a oldie but goodie today, ladies and gentlemen. This was when my super RA back at Fisk University in 1999. Yes, 1999. Wow. Mr. Andre Anderson himself. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Oh, man, you done my heart some good. You did say something about being old, but 99 it wasn't that long ago to me. You know what I'm saying? It was like yesterday. But, brother, I want to say thank you, and I'm so proud of you immensely. I need to say that at the onset of our Manversation.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell my audience who doesn't know you. Well, then again, they may have seen you, but they don't really know you.
Right, and I kind of like it like that because of confidentiality and anonymity. As a therapist, we want to make sure that we keep your business your business. In the same breath, I am a spoken word artist, so I perform, but I want to make sure that if I've worked with you in a clinical or private sense, that your story is not the story on stage.
Definitely. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get right into it. And he mentioned that he was a therapist. You're a therapist, and you've been doing this, a lot longer than you've been licensed.
You just woke me up with that right there. Sometimes we get called into things. One of my pastors a long time ago said, we put a demand on a gift. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as a bench warmer in our belief system and our value system and our religion. So everybody has to, if you got a gift, your gift got to make room for you, right? And it brings you before great people. So when it comes to therapy, not to be super religious by any means, but Proverbs 11:14, where there's no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there's safety.
So now that we got that whole therapy thing out the way, let's talk about the power of spoken word in what you do and how you reach the young men and women.
Wow. The Bible says that men should always pray, lifting up holy hands everywhere, because that's the only way that hustlers and players will hustle home and become team players. Something about how a word fitly spoken can touch you, right? It can open up doors. It can make somebody laugh, cry, feel, empathize. When we look at the feelings wheel, there's not a coincidence that Brene Brown is in everybody's household because she's tapped into the Atlas of the Heart, right? So if you can name it, you can tame it. I think I saw one of your videos out there just about pre-contemplation and contemplation, right? And so that voice inside of your head, those are words. And if we can somehow think on the good things and put a word to it to tame it rather than have that unnamed emotion hijack us, man, we can keep all our blood pressure low.
So for my brothers out there, because a lot of us have heard a lot of negativity for a long period of time, give us, your blueprint or your ideas on how can we, get out of that negative cycle with all of that negative speech.
Listen, y'all, when James Bush came to Nashville, Tennessee in 1999, one of the things places we connected values was lifting weights. So one of the ways that I never had to go to a negative dimension with you, James, is because we valued one another.
Right.
Whether we had on a T-shirt, lifting, or we was competing on push-ups with Terry, remember Terry, right? Yeah, he just dropped out. I bet I can get 50. I bet I can get 75 in the dorm room. Yep. So I believe in a strengths-based approach to shaping behavior. And that means we go with a dense ratio of positive to critical statements. And it's not easy by any means. It's scriptural, Proverbs 18:21. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Right. And then also Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupt communication come out your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. But it's also scientific. There's an article I often quote, 2012 Journal of Positive Behavior Interventions, and it's called Cloudy with a Chance of Sarcasm, Sunny with High Expectations, using best practice language to strengthen positive behavior interventions and support efforts. So the whole idea in this 11-word category, you got accountability, but then you got encouragement, grace, guidance, hope, high expectations, love, respect, relationship, understanding, and unity. You got 10 other positive attributes that you can hit somebody with, more than just keeping them accountable, saying stop, quit, don't sit down.
Man.
Real talk.
Man.
You see, I love people, and I love making folks smile. Most importantly, I love keeping my own blood pressure low.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, Andre Anderson. Andre Anderson. And what he did was basically he took a bunch of books and he translated for all of us who don't need to read those books. That's the power of words.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Just after this. Mind of a Man Show.
Rock bottom on the track, boy.
So Andre,
Yes, sir.
you know, we from that old guard, man, that 80s and that 70s bracket where if we not beating you or putting our foot in your tail, it ain't abusive.
Right.
But we do know that there's a such thing as emotional abuse
That
and
part.
verbal abuse.
That part.
And a lot of times what I see, a lot of this come from where we have husbands who, they're not bad guys, but they just have anger. They have depression. They have anxiety. They have displacement. When, you know, when you come home from having a hard day at work and then instead of, you know, telling your boss off, you tell your wife off.
Yeah. Yes.
Give my brothers some information, or just, man, give them information as well as a application of how to get out of that cycle.
You just asked a billion-dollar question that I need to be able to sign and pay for with a nickel. All right. I'm gonna go scientific, but then I'm gonna come back street on it. Is that all right?
Come on, go ahead.
Scientifically, peep game. Between a stimulus and a response, there is a space.
Okay.
And in that space lies our opportunity to choose our response.
Okay.
And in our response lies our growth and freedom. That's Dr. Viktor Frankl, as you know, Man's Search for Meaning, right?
Austrian, yeah.
Yeah, you know about it, right?
I know, Vic.
Okay, logotherapy. Now here the street go. I can catch more flies with sugar and honey than I can with salt and vinegar.
Yeah,
Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turns away wrath.
that's right.
Right? So first things first, I have to be able to speak that loving, kind, gentle, yet forceful word over myself before I engage with anybody.
Ooh, you said something right there. You got to check yourself before you engage with, man, your partner.
You know how I feel around when you're around somebody with a critical spirit?
Yeah.
You have to be able to have that insight, pull yourself up to say, hold on, bruh. How would I like if that person did that to me?
Yeah.
You feel where I'm going?
Yeah.
It's playing the game from inside out. That's big picture. And I know for when we say the average normal brother who ain't got all that alphabet soup behind their name.
Yes, sir.
Keeping your blood pressure low is serious business.
That's right.
When you go to the doctor, your wife getting on your nerves or your cousin beating you out of $1,000 still will not be an excuse for you to run your own blood pressure up.
That's true.
So you got to think about you. You really got to think about you and your choice and the law of effect. How can I get something without running my own blood pressure up? That's real talk. We've all seen a child have a tantrum.
That's true. But, you know, I got my audience out there, and Andre, they'll say, man, bro, I hear what you're saying. I hear it. But, man, you don't know her. You don't know how crazy she is. You don't know how much of a terror she is to me. You don't know how she belittles me at every turn, wanting me to be something that I am not. You don't know that she doesn't speak life into me. You don't know that, matter of fact, that she's a user. She's selfish. You don't know the fact of the sacrifices I made. And I'm tired. Yeah. I'm frustrated, and I'm ready to go and do the most at this moment.
Right.
And so we have that group out there, and they hurting because it's like, as men, again, in this mental health space, we are beginning to have these conversations, but we haven't had enough of them. Yeah. We haven't had those safe spaces.
Oh.
So then what do we do?
Oh. One thing is for sure, you have a right to be human. Okay, you got the right to make mistakes. You also have a right and the power to pull away from an argument.
Okay.
You see where I'm going? You got a right to pull away from it. It take two to argue, last I checked.
That's right, it do.
You see where I'm going? I said before, a soft answer turns away wrath, but also when a man's ways please God, even his enemies are at peace with him. Sure. So one of the ways we work in de-escalation, as you know, not to be too clinical, but it's important, low and slow. It's hard to argue with someone when they take down their volume and slow it down. Because typically in an argument, it's yada yada da 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 da.
It's escalating.
Oh man, it's right?
Yeah.
And so it's rapid, but when you go low and slow, you're allowing your blood pressure, your heart rate, your breathing, so you can think clearer. There's a video I want y'all to check out called Meditation to Fly. My goodness, I use it from ages 3 to 93. Meditation to Fly. It ain't even over 3 minutes. And it doesn't have any words, but it has a tremendous metaphor. Don't wear yourself out trying to kill flies.
Right.
Don't wear yourself out trying to kill flies.
Shoot fly.
Well, my uncles would tell me, boy, the more I try to teach you, the dumber I get. Right. So quit trying to teach me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Mind if I Man Show.
Rock bottom on the track, boy.
So Andre, man, definitely missed your show. I went the pedestrian route, and I'm like, but I know we were talking in the green room. There was some nuggets that you just dropped.
Oh my goodness.
And what type of woman was that? What you was talking about?
Oh, it's a poem called The Type of Woman. And because there's a lot of different type of women, but with my wife, she's the type of woman who makes me analyze my inhibitions.
Okay.
The type of sister who makes me find time to listen. And the irony is that the same letters in the word silent are the exact same letters in the word listen. But don't misconstrue my silence as the passive type. I just know that obedience is better than sacrifice, so I'm going to be real quiet so I can be obedient to everything that God is telling us. That's why I ain't got time for jaw-jacking with the fellas. I'm just so grateful and thankful. I want to massage her ankles until her calf muscles get jealous. Because you're the type of woman who needs to walk into work with the right type of posture. The type of spirit that repels the fiery darts of the imposter. Like when them grown women be at the water cooler chit-chatting about the cool dude's cologne, you look at them like they hilarious because you got all of that at home. That's why I pray God carry us until we return to clay and they bury us. Matter of fact, the day the pastor married us, I treated her body like Sam's Club on a Saturday morning. Real life taste testing in various areas. Because you're the type of woman who makes me take it to the altar and leave it there. And I thank God for you being that type of woman. Them words.
Them words, man.
Be careful what we ask for, them words.
Be careful. Definitely got to be careful what we ask for, man. I mean, but what you described right there was a connection. A different connection that was more than just a physical. Yeah. It was more than just the intellectual or the emotional. It encompassed various areas. And what I'm seeing is that many of us, we haven't been taught how to tap into that. I told two people when I wrote a post not too long ago, that's like many of us, we know how to read a 4-3 defense and a cover 2, but we don't know how to emotionally support a woman.
Wow, teach.
We have no clue about that.
Teach.
We know, man, basically where, you know, the Mike and the Sam and we know where the blitz is coming from and the pressure, but we do not know how to cover a woman when she is at her most vulnerable state. And that's why a lot of times, you know, we find those moments right now. That's why we find those unfortunate instances where there's contention, there's confusion, there's chaos. And then what happens? Those negative words.
Oh,
they come in.
We start spiraling.
Yeah. You know, and so it's one of the attacks of the enemy where, you know, it's, you know, you attack the strong person, you attack the weaker person, but, you know, it's almost a reverse portion where it's like whoever is up.
What you said.
At whatever point in time.
That's a brilliant observation and analysis, right? And sometimes we put our mouth on it too soon.
Yeah.
Just because if we on defense and just because they got 6 yards on first down, second down, we can adjust the D.
Sure could. We
can adjust it. And even if they score, we still in the game, right?
Yeah.
But it ain't going to help us beating ourselves up with our own mouth.
Nah, it's not.
You see what I mean?
And I think another thing that when you were talking about the power of words is you got to be careful of who you let sow words into your life. Because unfortunately, what happens is that you are gifted and you are strengthened to handle certain situations.
That's right.
That other people cannot. So why would, we talked about weightlifting, why would I go and ask you to go lift 500 pounds? Well, yeah, 500, when maybe you could, maybe you can't. Why would I put that on you? Right. That's what a lot happens, is we put our expectations on other individuals and we expect the outcome to be what it is, but unfortunately we're disappointed in that.
Exactly.
Walk within your own strength.
Set yourself up for success.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the greatest things you can do is set yourself up for success with immediate reinforcement. Please don't start out swinging for the fences, trying to hit a grand slam. No, let's practice just making contact with the ball. Matter of fact, let's practice not swinging at the wrong pitches.
Exactly. Again, it goes back to knowledge of self.
Absolutely. You got that Angels hat on. I had to pull that baseball.
Hey, man, I like red. That's all that is. Goes on with that, man. Enjoy red. But again, it goes to knowledge of self and understanding who you are, your strengths, your talents, and then sometimes understanding those weak moments as well too. You know, and finding support systems, man, to help you in those areas. So now I got my producer. She's waving about maybe 1 minute, less than 50 seconds.
All right.
But she don't know. I'm going to let this go into, man, the commercial. And we're going to come back for about one more segment.
All right.
All
right. The power of words. My goodness.
Let's take a real quick break. The Mind of a Man Show.
Rock bottom on the track, boy.
So Andre, man, I gotta get ready to get out of here. But before we go, that is, bless my audience with hearing final thoughts from you.
When my daughter was 5 years old, I came home from a training at Vanderbilt and I said, Chelsea, the word ubiquitous, it means everywhere, like cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
At 5, she said, ubiquitous, it means everywhere, like temptation.
Whoa.
A 5-year-old put me up on game. Never underestimate the power of the human spirit. It means something, Kimfo. It means something. I'm also a professor at the university, measurement and research and applied behavior analysis, and I also teach ethics and applied behavior analysis. And one thing I tell the students, if the student fall asleep in class, it ain't your fault. Let me say that again. If the student fall asleep in class, it is not the student's fault. Right. So when we're around individuals, particularly African-American males, mind of a man, friends, put yourself in a learning position and find something to reinforce at a ratio of 8-to-1. I think that's good news.
Andre, tell my audience where they can find you at, my brother.
Very easily. On LinkedIn, Andre Anderson, BCBA. On LinkedIn, Andre Anderson, BCBA. On Facebook, Andre Anderson. And you'll see me, you'll probably see Denzel and Forrest Whitaker in the back of me. They having a conversation because I like mind of a man and conversations with brothers.
Oh, you know what we do here? We have Manversations.
That's what I'm talking about, Manversations.
Because these are the things that men need to have more detailed, more, pointed, more structured, arguments about. Absolutely. And I don't mean argument for the sake of conflict, but in a sense of, learning, putting forth a point and then beginning to receive from the elders or receive from the young men as well too.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
We definitely in a day and age where we're not talking enough.
We ain't talking enough, and guess what? You spoke something while we was in the green room. We're gonna end up having a mind of a man group conversation so y'all can really see how juicy dialogue takes place in a group session.
So it just doesn't happen in a barbershop, right?
No, it can happen any and everywhere.
So men do have conversations or manversations.
Man, you ain't never seen no brothers at Denny's get out? If y'all in the Nashville area, Monell's get out?
Oh, definitely.
Come on now.
Doctor, I got to take you there. Man, Curtis, I got to take you there, man. Monell's is, wonderful, man. We'll have itis
restaurants,
but we will be all right. we definitely will be all right. And again, audience, I just want y'all, to recognize that you have educated professionals. You know, a lot of us, we didn't have to sell not one brick.
Right.
We didn't have to go and put anything in somebody's face, a gun to rob them or anything like that. We used what was given to us, our giftings, our talents. You know, a lot of us, we had goals. Some of us, we were groomed and we were taught that, hey, maybe we could play in the league at some point in time. And I guess it didn't happen, but there was even greater callings for us. And that's what I want to do, is just promote the power of education. I see sometimes on social media where they'll say that, well, man, you're going to get those degrees in, psychology and sociology or so like that. And man, guess what? I'm making 6 figures or so like that. Well, guess what? I make 6 as well too, and more.
Thank you.
Right. Power of education is very important. We got to start changing the narrative. We got to get to a place, where we celebrate, Black intellect, We celebrate those things that were there before we got on this, what we call North America.
Good.
We got to get to that space, where we're able to understand that, hey, there is kingdom inside of us. But until we recognize that, we will always eat at the pauper's hand. And that's unfortunate. What's burning on the bush is next.
rock bottom on the track, boy.
So I'm about to get burned for this one, but who cares? I saw a post not too long ago where there was a statement about marriage, especially in this westernized world. And for some reason, we've been doing this whole thing since biblical days. I don't know, over for 2,000 years or so, I guess. Don't quote me on that. Don't shoot me if I'm off by a decade or so. But we've been doing it for a while. And now it seems to be the prevailing idea is let's wait longer to get married. Maybe in your 30s, mid-30s. Now there's a lot of biological implications that will go along with that, around that 35 years of age for females where pregnancies can be somewhat problematic if you wait that long. We have technological advances such as freezing of the eggs or so, but that's not a guarantee that, that will work or take every time. But I want to get back to the other portion of it. Why do we wait so long? Why is that the idea? Is it that we're trying to build this wonderful life based on what ideas? So is it to say that in our 20s, we can go and have all the great sex that we want to and become all triggered and traumatized by every individual, and then when that person meets us in our early 30s or mid 30s, they have to work through that process? Maybe. And the funny thing about it is that I don't find that a lot of Eastern cultures follow this same idea. To some extent they do, but some of them, they still have arranged relationships. Yes, they do, even to this day. And I think it's something to be said of being able to grow with a person. Are you gonna have everything perfect or together? Probably not. Is everything gonna have, a smooth after school special, knotted up in 2 hours or less? Probably not. But my point is that we have to follow what works for us. Exactly. And whatever that may be for you, if it is to wait or if it's to do it early, let's not base our ideas or a lot of our moments on popular society, because we all know that is fleeting. Does that make sense?